Welcome back to D Island Docs. Today we have been discussing addiction. And addiction doesn't only affect adults, it also affects teenagers and the young. And sometimes with teenagers, what we see are their drug seeking or their methods are a little bit different because they probably cannot get access to things like alcohol and cocaine. So you would probably see them, trying things like sniffing glue, sniffing paint, and for methods like these, right, Dr. Gordon?
Yeah, and another thing that I need to mention is that addiction. I mean, we've discussed a lot of addiction to drugs and chemicals, but addiction doesn't always have to be strictly due to chemicals.
That's true.
You can be addicted to things like gambling, you can be addicted to things like sex, the plastic surgery. I think we mentioned that before. So, addiction is actually any type of, once you satisfy that criteria, that DSM-4 criteria that we explained in the first take, then you need to understand that addiction exists.
Yes, that's right. And there's so many coping mechanisms that if you are in fact, battling with addiction, that you should try to implement, like, avoiding being in areas where, you might be tempted to do whatever, practices that you have just quit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of the addicts, that we speak to, they tell us that there are certain stressors. They know certain stressors can trigger them to go back down that road of addiction. So if you can find other coping mechanisms to deal with your stressors, then there are other ways, you can get over your addiction.
Sometimes you just have to, make new friends, because sometimes your addictive behavior makes you have friends who also practice the same behavior as you. So you probably would have to, find a new set of friends who probably wouldn't be encouraging you to say, hey boy, you quit drinking, but he wants to offer you another drink, something like that.
Yes, because when you're addicted to, say, for instance, alcohol, sometimes you're in the company of, someone who's alcoholic, and they offer you one drink, and it only takes one to get back into that downward spiral.
You don't have that luxury like everyone else anymore after you've been an alcohol addict or a smoking addict to start back up again. Sometimes you fool yourself and you say, yeah, I'm good. I've been like 4 years good and I could just try one and I'll be fine and then I'll, stop again. But you absolutely don't have that luxury anymore. Like we said before, addiction doesn't only affect yourself and your family, it also affects the community at large. Remember, at that point, you're probably not a contributing member of society anymore. But always remember that there are always services out there, like hotlines that you can call if you need assistance to start that step to quit. There's also group therapies that you could get involved in, like AA, for instance. And, there's always government services out there that you can go to get that support system.
I mean, there's even like your pastor or your church members who you can go and, you just need someone to help you. Some assistance, there's group therapy. You can find that help that you need to help you combat addiction. For those of you who have friends or family who are battling with addiction, here are some helpful tips that we'd like to share with you. First thing is that create the environment for them to succeed. I mean, if they are addicted to alcohol, please get rid of all the alcohol in your house.
Yeah, don't try to offer them any, when they're in a situation of a social gathering.
Yeah, do not take them to celebrate in things like bars or sporting events where they're surrounded by, the stressors that would make them fall by the wayside and start back their addiction.
And 2, definitely do not quit. Addiction is just as serious as a disease as any other, and you need to be with them and supportive for the entire journey.
I mean, addiction is a disease. They are going to let you down. They're going to falter many, many times, and they're not going to be, it's not a straight road. They are going to make mistakes. They are going to get back into that destructive process. You just need to be there to support them.
Thank you guys so much for staying with us today on our episode of Addiction. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at D Island Docs or send in your messages to dislanddocs@gmail.com. And remember, the apple a day for today is get help. If you are battling with any addiction at all, go get some help. Until next time, guys, see you.